Hey, we want to welcome everyone to KnoxvilleDirtDigest.com. Mike Roberts flying along with you again one more time as we struggle to get racing season going around the whole country. We're still not ready to go racing here anyway. We wouldn't start until April 17th on practice night, April 18th as far as Knoxville Raceway. We're waiting on some big announcements, hopefully by even next Monday, maybe Tuesday. We're waiting to see what the governor of Iowa is doing. In the meantime, you grab some local talent, if you will, when you bring them in because they're not out playing right now. Jamie Ball comes in. And normally you would have been to Texas or other places racing, but you guys you're parked right now.
Yeah, last year I started in the first week of March in Chatham, Louisiana, and raced through Devil's Bowl down in Texas, and all I-80 and some Sprint Invader stuff up here, getting ready at the beginning of April. And right now we're just sitting idle, getting anxious.
Getting a lot of home time in, as we call it right now. Yeah,
we've moved our offices at LNG Enterprise and Iowa Realty back to my house, so I pretty much work in a 10x10 room in my house all day long, every day. So
you've been self-quarantined before it started to happen, huh?
Yeah, I think my fiance is getting tired of spending every single second of every day with me. So hopefully we can get back to business here shortly.
I made the comment last week about this whole quarantine thing. I figure in 9 months we're gonna have a whole lot of babies being born, and in 3 months if we're not careful we're gonna have a whole lot of divorces being filed. I mean, this whole stay in the house and stay close to your family is a great idea, but we all have to have our space eventually sometime.
Oh, absolutely. Like I was talking with my fiance JC, and I've had more at-home meals and spent more time, at a dinner table or watching TV programs with her or my mom and dad than I have in, I think I told her in forever, and I think she said, you mean in ever, like totally forever.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's been something else, but it's, I don't know, nice to slow down every once in a while, I guess.
Let's go back to the beginning of your racing career, because the last couple of years you have been traveling a lot, but let's go back to the beginning, clear back in the kart days.
My mom was very protective, and I didn't race a single thing until I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If it wouldn't have been for my 8th grade math teacher, Nick Moss, I got my start in outlaw karts in his spare kart, and my dad kind of took him under his wing, and we started working on his stuff, and then I ended up racing English Creek from 2006 to 2009.
We talk about Mom being protective. She had the reason to be protective because Dad was out there getting his butt beat. Not physically as far as losing races, but, I mean, he was getting banged up a few times. She's went through a lot of his wrecks. In fact, I think he owns a record for, like, the longest red eye or something like that.
We were actually just talking about that. The Knoxville Raceway YouTube page posted the 1,200-pound nationals.
Right.
And that was his first ever time in a 410, and it came the day after his biggest crash of his life. And he said he made the AMA, and he actually started from outside on his qualifying night.
Right.
And he walked across the stage, and he said Kenny Jacobs turned and looked at him and said, I've been racing for a long time, and that's the worst case of flip eyes I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, it was nuts. And it stayed forever. I mean, I can remember later on that winter, he still had a little tinge of orange in it even. So
yeah, he was a fairly fan favorite at that time, and
right.
There was a lot of kids that were terrified to even come near him. They'd look at him and run away.
Now they're just terrified of him in general. But that's,
so now they get the same thing.
I like teasing your dad. We've known each other forever, and it did strike me funny because it wasn't because you didn't want to race. I mean, I could tell you running around the pits and you running around the house. I mean, you wanted to jump in at 4 years old, 5 years old, whenever somebody would just let you drive a steering wheel. I mean, you want to do it.
It's really the only thing I've ever known.
Yeah.
My dad started racing go-karts, I think, in 88, and I was born in 90, and he started racing sprint cars in 98, so I kind of tell people I've never lived out of the city of Knoxville, and it's because of Knoxville Raceway. That's where I want to be.
What was it like at the dinner table every time you brought up the conversation, Mom, I want to race?
Dad was so busy racing at the time that I didn't bring a whole lot of conversation up. I knew how it was, and I knew how important it was to him, and,
sure.
And he was getting really, really good at that time, and he had a lot of success, and I enjoyed helping him, and I kind of knew my time would come eventually. The way life worked out, he worked at Maytag, and then when Maytag shut down, he was able to start LNG Enterprise. That's kind of afforded us a little more financial stability to be able to do so. And he's given me 10 times more of the opportunity than he ever had, so I'm forever grateful to him, my mom, and Jody Haywood for letting me race.
You talk about your dad and really getting his groove on, getting going, that 410 division you're talking about. I think he was driving for Stroud, wasn't he, at the time?
The first time was Ed Gifford in 17.
Gifford, that's right. I forgot about
Ed's
Gifford,
first driver.
So, I mean, he did. Because he messed around in 360s for a while.
Yep.
And had some success. He busted his butt, but had some bad luck, too. I can remember, I think it was opening night, brand new motor, man, we're going to be really good this year. And I think it blew up going down the backstretch or something.
Yeah, into a million pieces straight out the bottom.
It just gutted it. So it was unbelievable. So they had some bad luck too, but he had a lot of guys that supported him, and I see some of that support in your auction. I didn't make this year's. I do apologize. We were over in Johnson County where the first case of the coronavirus was actually, but not getting that. But anyway, I see a lot of the old guys from your dad's team still hanging around.
It's pretty cool how things like that work out. You know, I grew up with the Kelly Carlsons, you know, Tab Mart, different people like that helped my dad. And they still come around to this day. You know, Jody Higwood was just decided one year he was going to buy my dad's motor, and I think it was like 2002 or something, and bought it. And, you know, now he's part car owner and part my boss and family friend. And just it's cool how people can stick together and help each other from generations. You know, I kind of laugh even when I've watched some of those YouTube videos Knoxville's put up this week. And, like, some of those guys were my heroes, you know, Billy Alley.
Right.
I loved Billy Alley, and to this day I feel I still am affected by him based on how he treated me when I was a kid. I try to treat kids the same way. And just seeing some of those names and seeing some of those guys that are still racing today, that it's like, man, I'm enjoying a decent amount of success, and I've raced, you know, half as long as they have. So it's cool to hang with some of the people that I watched back when I was a child that are still going today, and, you know, I can race right with them. You know, Clint Garner being probably the biggest one.
Garner's always been around here, it seems like, especially during your career, I mean, every year. But you brought up Billy Alley, and I never will forget, Billy loved watching him race, really loved watching him win, but it scared me when he won because he was so emotional. I mean, he grabbed me and tossed me around one time, and I'm thinking, my gosh, you won the race, don't kill me, you know. But he just had that much adrenaline build up inside of him.
I actually talk to Billy every once in a while. Like I said, he was a pretty good role model for me, and actually just talked to him a couple months ago just about some advice of how to point race properly, you know, how to be as good as he was and win championships like he did. And he's always kind of been a text message away, phone call away for me. And, you know, we talked a little bit about, kind of like you said, with his aggression and, you know, just how he went at it. And he told me, be mad when you don't win, or be mad when you disappoint yourself, but don't be mad too long. He said you need to have that fire, but you also need to be able to get over it pretty quick. I'm looking forward to getting this year started. I think you got a lot of good people in my corner that can give me some advice, and, you know, this will be my 11th year racing, so hopefully we can finally get one in the bag maybe and get a track championship.
A couple of years ago, you decided to take it to the next level, if you will. You went on a national tour, and besides being a healthy checkbook to survive out there, just in diesel fuel, I mean, it's a whole new learning curve. I mean, you've seen some tracks that you've never seen before. Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was a lot more different than I thought it would be. It's not all it's cracked up to be, I guess. Maybe just because I'm a big track guy and I'm more of a hometown guy and what I got going on in my life. But we learned a lot. I went to, I think the first year, I went to like 36 new tracks. So it was pretty difficult to be already behind the curve on short track ability compared to some of the guys like Haferteep, Wayne Johnson, you know, Herrera, Covington, Blake Hahn, and all them. But it was definitely difficult. It was... when people say you go on the road and get your teeth kicked in, they're not kidding. It's definitely a mental game, definitely a confidence deal. But every time I come home over those 2 years, it was, I don't know, just something about it. You walked in Knoxville Raceway, and it just, a calm came over you, and it felt easier. And that's kind of part of what I'm looking forward to this year, being back home full time, is that I felt like sometimes with the national tour, I had to go race. And this year, I feel kind of my motto is I get to go race. I want to be excited to go again. You want to do it.
We're going to pick some tracks that we're better at and that we have more fun at, and that can be closer to home, because with our business, LNG Enterprise, and my side business with Iowa Realty, it really killed us being gone as much as we were. So we're kind of going to put the family aspect back into it again, and we're not hiring anybody. We're just going to do what we can do through myself, my dad, my mom, JC, Jody, Josh, and a couple volunteer guys. And,
the Josh man.
And Josh man, Chick Magnet Motorsports.
Yeah.
Can't forget him. But just going to get back to having fun again. And
he sent me a message the other day. He goes, hey, I want to be on your show. So I was like, yeah, we'll make it happen.
He has no shame. He will ask Wing Nation and Open Red. He'll tweet to them all and say, hey, you need to have me.
Well, he's like you. He grew up around here, and he had no choice but to be in love with the sport. I mean, his dad, like you said, was been involved with your dads, and so too. Jody was involved with my team clear back in the mid '80s.
Yeah, they've all got a lot of history here in Knoxville in general, especially at Knoxville Raceway. Yeah,
I think Jody he might have been still in school even. I think it was when he first started hanging around our team, and he it's really weird because you think that this is a guy that really doesn't know sprint car racing. I'm talking about in the 80s now.
Yep.
Doesn't know sprint car racing, but all he has to do is just look at something and just study it for a little while, and he can figure things out. I've never seen anybody like him in my life, as far as from around here anyway.
Yeah, he's one of the best talent-wise when it comes to being a problem solver. He doesn't need to know everything about something, but if he just knows something about something, he can figure it out like he's known about it for years. He's really one of our best assets when it comes to thrashing in the pit area. If motor brakes or rear end or something, that guy can get things done in a hurry and get it done right. And
he loves the game too. Again, I'm not throwing you underneath the bus, Jody, but he got in a kart. He did an outlaw kart. I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah, that was quite the experience. I think he got upside down like 6 out of 10 times that he raced, but just had fun doing it. And that's kind of how our teams ran from when we started clear back in 06, is just try to have fun at everything we do, and take it serious, but don't take it too serious to where it makes it a job.
When you were out on there, you mentioned about you felt like you had to go there, you had to be there all the time. Did it feel like you had, not to disrespect any factory jobs or anything like that, but you had to clock in, you had to be there on time, you had to do it no matter what you wanted to do. It was a job.
Yeah, and for myself, I have a lot of irons in the fire all the time. So whether it be racing or LNG Enterprise or selling real estate, I sell die-cast cars on the side.
You're still doing that?
Still doing that. My fiance and I've got a ranch and everything, so it's just I get pulled in a lot of directions.
Right.
And on the road, it seemed like there was always something needing done, and throwing racing in on top of that, as well as new tracks or tracks I'm not good at. It's no secret I'm not exactly the best guy on a quarter mile. I grew up here learning to go fast and be smooth, so letting it hang out with the throttle and driving it off the right rear is a little bit difficult for me. It's just kind of out of my comfort zone. So the whole national tour time, it was fun, and we got to see new places and had some success and won a race or two and did okay in the points, but there's just nothing better than coming home to Knoxville.
That first year out there, did you ever get to a place like, what the hell am I doing out here? I don't even enjoy this anymore.
Only a couple times. We had some motor problems getting going. Our first year, I think we started with 5 360s, and by my birthday on May 20th, I think I had 2 left.
Oof.
We just had some parts break and just some kind of bad luck stuff of being on the road and not being used to where we were at, and a few crashes, just bad luck stuff. I don't know, chalk it up to a rookie season type thing. It seems like everybody's first year on the road is always pretty trying, but there's definitely times where it's like, it makes you kind of mentally want to check yourself and say, do I want to be out here?
Your second year, you brought in a ringer, which I was shocked. I didn't expect to see Rob, and all of a sudden you guys got him on your team, and this guy, I'm watching old stuff from the Diamond P and the old era age. I mean, Rob's been around forever.
Rob has some of the best stories of anybody that I've ever met. Just spending time with the guy is enjoyable because he's not a BSer. He's telling you true things that actually happened, that he was there, a part of, and all the good people he worked for. And to be honest, we'd been trying to get him to come work for us for probably 3 or 4 years.
I should clarify, Rob Hart's who we're talking about.
Yes.
When you and I talk Rob, we already know who we're talking about, but for those who don't know.
And we'd been trying to get him. We just, whenever we had the money or the time or whatever, he was with someone else and locked into another deal, and it just never really worked out. And after that first year of the national tour, he was willing to step in and help us, and we spent a good year together. Learned a lot, and it just eventually ended up being time to move on, but he really taught us how to prepare a car, both to race here locally at Knoxville and to race on the road. The importance of being ready in the shop, and that's where you really win races, is by being prepared before you get there. I mean, everything he did, from the truck, trailer, generator, just preparation of cars, tire work, different things, he taught us a lot, so it was definitely a good opportunity. You
look at teams with success, and Rob Hart's been on a bunch of them. I look at Tyler Schwank. I look at Doug Rankin. I look at the Woodruffs, Kenny and Jeff both. Their most successful times is when they were most prepared, even before they even loaded the car up in the trailer. And is that something, I mean, you mentioned Rob taught you how to get ready. Is that something you're talking about? Is it just overall maintenance?
Absolutely. Both weekly maintenance and off-season maintenance. Like, we let Rob take all of our stuff, truck, trailer, cars, everything, to his home in Brownsburg last year. And his shop, you could eat off the floor. I mean, he's the most organized guy I've ever met. And every car was meticulously done. Everything was identical. We prepared 4 cars last year that looked like they were Donnie Schatz's. You know, if you go see a Donnie Schatz car at Nationals, mine looked just like that.
Right.
And just some of the simple processes of how he puts things together and the way he does it, and just, I don't know, just staying organized in the shop. You know, everything has a place, everything has a purpose. If it doesn't, it's out of there.
Right.
And I think he's really helped us for years to come. You know, the year he was with us was a great opportunity, but for what he taught us going forward, I think definitely makes us a championship caliber team.
I gotta say, how much of that did you carry on then? I mean, again, he hasn't been gone that long, so you don't know for sure, but how much of that you think is going to stick with you for the rest of your life?
Oh, quite a bit of it, really. You know, it was nice because my dad and Jody on our team, but he would, you know, they were not employees of his, but they were apprentices, I guess, sort of during that time. So he would teach them things and how he does this or why he does it. You know, he didn't just do it and say that's how it is. There was a reason behind everything. And really, from driving tips and setups and different things, we all learned things to take going forward. So I really think he'll help us, you know, for the year he was with us forever.
When you're in that car, who's your worst enemy?
Myself. I am, in my opinion, a very talented driver, but I also overanalyze things, and I can talk myself out of something just as easy. I can talk myself into it. Over the last few years, I definitely battled confidence issues just from some of the wrecks that we had in different tracks, and I don't know, just get nervous, and I've been trying to preach to myself power of positivity, you know, instead of saying what could go wrong, training myself to say what could go right, you know, or what do I got to lose.
The reaction I went with that question is because of Nationals a few years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago, Nationals. And as soon as you
McQueen car.
Yeah, the Lightning McQueen car, because, I mean, you came in with confidence. I mean, that was your year. You could tell, this is it. I'm feeling good about Nationals and da-da-da-da-da. And, man, with the exception of, you know, it raining on the track while you're out there, everything that could have went wrong around you went wrong. Not to your doing. I mean, you got caught up in a lot of stuff. I think he was on the hook 3 times that week?
Yeah, upside down twice in the wall.
Yeah.
A third.
Yeah, I mean, it just
4 nights.
And again, not to your doing. It's just you were in the wrong place, wrong time. Obviously that, because I know the reason I bring this up, because when I went to interview on one of them, you always talked to me and you held your hand up and went nope, you know, and you never do that. At that point, how do you get motivated to get back in again? I guess is where I'm going with this, because I know you are your own worst enemy. Your confidence is all you. And I've always tried to pump you up. Every driver I talk to, I say, you got to go after it and everything else. How do you get in your head like, okay, I've flipped twice now, I still got to get back in this thing?
It's pretty hard, especially after that weekend. Those two wrecks were probably a couple short of the one that I got hurt and life flighted in 2012. Those were the 2 hardest wrecks I've ever taken. And to do them, I think it was on a Saturday and then on a Wednesday.
Right.
After Wednesday, I could barely walk. My knees were jammed up. My back was killing me. My head was killing me. Neck, you know, just sore everywhere. So physically, I was beat down, and mentally, it wasn't much better. But having Rob and my mom and JC and just Dad and Jody and the good support system around me, they basically said, you know, we got more cars. You're okay. Nothing not fixable happened, and let's move on to the next one. And luckily enough, we headed to Webster City in Hamilton County with the national tour. I think it was a week after Nationals,
right? And
got a national tour win there.
Yeah.
So it was racing can make you a hero or a zero. You are truly, I know it sounds cliche, but only as good as your last race. And whatever happened previously doesn't totally affect what can happen next.
That had to be a big confidence booster to get back in again after 3 times on the hook, and then the very next week you're back on top.
It was, and I'd never been to that track, and neither had any of the national tour guys.
And it wasn't one of your bigger tracks. I mean, we're not talking a huge place like Knoxville.
No, not at all. I think it was a 3/8.
Right.
And it was fast track. Not a whole lot of cars showed up, which in my opinion made it harder because there was no lap traffic. And Johnny Herrera was right on me. I think we literally had like 6 yellow flags on restarts, and I held Johnny Herrera off 6 times.
Yeah.
And it felt great. You know, no national tour wins easy.
I hadn't been up to Webster City for years, but I can't imagine it's changed much up there as far as everything.
I hadn't been there at all, but I'm pretty sure they hadn't done a whole lot of track work in the last 20 years. It looked pretty original.
Did you ever look down at the end of turn 1 and 2 down? You know what's on the other end? If you go out too far, you end up in water. There's a creek down there.
We've been to a couple tracks like that where they told you, hold your breath if you go off over here.
Yeah. And then again, Webster City is the closest one I can think of, but there's a lot of places like that. Lakeside used to be, if you came off of turn 2, I think it was like a 70-foot drop or something like that. It was just crazy. So, I mean, Max Dumpsney, the reason I brought it up, we were at Webster City one time, and I think Max was in 55 car, I believe. And he went and disappeared off there. And it's dark out there, you know. And everybody gets there, and Max is out of the car, and he's holding on the car trying to keep it from falling in the creek. I mean, he's right there on the edge, just teetering. So, I mean, it was all right there. So, yeah, that's a long time ago. We don't worry about stuff like that.
Yeah, y'all were crazy back then.
You've downsized. You brought the team home. You've downsized. Got rid of the big truck.
Yep.
How are you going to adjust for that? I mean, that's 2 years of getting used to everything being exactly where you put it, and not that you're not going to have that situation, but you're smaller again.
Yeah, we're definitely smaller, but I think it's going to make things less stressful.
Okay.
It's going to make it simplify things, make it easier. We sold our big truck and trailer to Parker Price Miller, who's working with Philip Dietz. So they got themselves a nice rig, and they got something that they need, being on the road, you know, living in it and racing out of it for months at a time. And to go 2 blocks across the street, we just didn't need that. You know, it just didn't make sense business-wise. We were able to, you know, take that money and make money in our business, LNG Enterprise, selling commercial equipment. And that's kind of the name of the game. And
just send you a bill for that cheap plug right there.
Yeah, I'll keep plugging it. Marketing school paying off. But I don't know. I think it'll be better. I think it'll be more fun. We're going to have a brand new dually from Carl Chevrolet, and then we ordered a 42-foot triple axle trailer from Capital Renegade, a brand new Intex. So we're still going to be nice and organized and professional, and you know, really be just as good. But we won't have an electronic log. We don't need CDL drivers, and
no kidding.
Anybody can drive it. You know, it'll be not wrapped, just going to be all white. But I think the white will work out good with our team name, White Lighting Motorsports, and just get back to having fun again. Just sometimes you can overcomplicate things.
What color is the car combination this year?
We're just sticking with the same thing that Rooster Graphics did for us last year, just the white, red, and black 5J.
Sure. Still got Team Central over there. You got a bunch of outlaw teams coming in and working out of your shop this year again?
A little bit. Part of the deal with selling the trailer to Parker Price Miller, his dad, Scott Runk's good friends with myself and the Wren family.
Right.
So when we agreed to sell it to him, I said I'll give Parker a place to work out of anytime he's here, nationals, World of Outlaw shows, whatever.
They were here quite a bit last year, too.
Yeah, and I think he will be a little bit here off and on. So we'll probably definitely have them. Have Wayne Johnson, who's a World of Outlaw driver this year.
What is he? What's you know? You talk about going back on national tours and stuff like that. Not that Wayne's been away from national tours, but ASCS, but he's a rookie this year again.
I was joking with him. I said, "Did you ever think you were on the World of Outlaw tour?" And he said, "Yeah, but I didn't think I'd do it when I'm 47 years old or."
We'll go with that. Yeah, ancient, you know.
Yeah, but you know, that's pretty cool, and I'm excited for him.
We're gonna have Wayne on the show later on this summer too, because I always enjoy interviewing him. But and he's been around forever, but he's been on some spectacular shows. But yeah, when I found out he's going to Outlaws, I'm like, okay, this is different, you know.
That's why I'm excited to race with him tonight. He's put an iRacing simulator together, and a bunch of us outlaw drivers and sprint car drivers are doing that iRacing World of Outlaw Invitational on Dirt Vision. So looking forward to doing that. I've been practicing up since I've got some time on my hands.
Now, just to clarify, when he says tonight, we're recording this on Wednesday. We don't air it till Saturday, so when everybody's up there looking, it'll be a replay is what it'll be. Yeah. So you can start bragging about beating him up later on.
Yeah,
so.
Hopefully.
Yeah, let's go back to the iRacing thing. Everybody's trying to get anything going. NASCAR did it just to get through this whole thing. NASCAR actually signed with Fox to do it the rest of the year if needed. Now, hopefully we don't get that far. But in your competition, you're going to be racing 360s out here mainly for points then? Is that the plan?
Yeah, 360s full-time at Knoxville.
Okay.
We'll put in some 410 stuff like on the two-day show World of Outlaw, the two-day USAC non-wing deal, and Capitani Classic and all the nationals and things like that, but mainly just focusing on trying to win a 360 championship.
How tough was it to bounce back and forth between 410, 360? And honestly, you guys had 3 cars out here at one time, too, that first year, because Devin was still driving.
Yeah, we've had, even when we ran Corey Cows's team back in the day.
Right.
And when my dad raced a little bit, I know we rented the track one night and we brought 6 cars. So we've been bringing a lot of cars for a while. So it's actually nice now to just be down to me, to where we can all go and enjoy it and focus on one car, focus on when that car's on the track, the guys can watch, you know, and even they can have a little downtime. It's no secret that my crew's not exactly young 21-year-old guys, so, you know, they can use a break every once in a while. So we're looking forward to just simplifying things and just being my car. We may do double duty a time or two, but double duty is so much work that it's
Sure it is.
It's not double the work; it's triple or quadruple the work, really. And I feel you don't really learn as much as you think you would, because you're just spending most of your night scrambling, especially with how quick Knoxville goes through the motions every night. We
were talking about Jody Hagwood earlier, and I got to ask you this: how tough is it to get him to, I don't want to say relax, because he's pretty well relaxed compared to the way he used to be 20 years ago, but to quit thinking? Because I know he's always trying to get that next edge. I mean, do you ever just sit back and say, hey, let's just go back to basics for a little bit? Because he's always willing to try something new.
Oh, yeah. He always wants that motor to run a little bit better, a little
right.
crisper, turn faster times. And I think we've got a pretty good base now from all the years that we've ran, and from a little bit of the stuff Rob taught us, that we kind of know both setup-wise and fuel and the motor-wise where to start every night. And then we got a couple different directions that we change shock packages and air pressure, spacing, different things like that, just kind of your basics, and really just keep it simple. So we've all been with each other long enough that we kind of complement each other well.
You mentioned your fiance earlier on. When's the wedding date?
Well, it was supposed to be November 14th, but with all this coronavirus stuff, my best man, Taylor Smith, can't make that because his schooling got pushed back for Naval Academy stuff.
Cousin Taylor, by the way.
Yeah. So to be determined at this moment. I don't know. We're gonna see what we can get figured out, because he's been my best friend since I was 4 years old, and really would mean the world to have him there.
And I talk about when I was in the 80s, I raced with his dad. That's who I raced with, Billy. So I mean, yeah, it's 100 years ago, as we say. But where's he stationed at now?
Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay.
Basically Washington.
Back
DC.
out east, yeah.
Yeah, Walter Reed.
Okay. Proud of that kid. I know that, and I know you guys have been best friends forever. And
he's done a lot for himself. Nothing that anybody did for him. All hard work, dedication, and sacrifice, all for him and his family.
Yeah. And hung around you racing, married into a racing family.
Yeah, part of the Zomers now.
Part of the Zomers now, so that's great. Now, just had their second kid, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kendall Ray.
Yeah.
I think about a month ago.
All right. See, I keep up on family a little bit. I got to process, because me being a grandpa and everything now, it gets kind of the memories not there.
A lot going on for you.
Mad cow, as we call it. So that's just what it is. So, all right. Well, hey, I do appreciate you coming in, and hopefully we stick a microphone in your face over in the dirt across the street here in just a couple more weeks. We'll see what happens.
That's the plan. We got 5 career wins there now, and definitely hoping to add to it.
All right, sounds good. And hopefully by next show next week, we'll have some more answers as far as start time for Knoxville Raceway. I know John's just waiting to see what the governor's going to do. I mean, it's all up to the state of Iowa. So we're sitting back and relaxing. I did a live Facebook post the other day. The Duncans are already working on the track. Jim Udemark's out there today hanging up signs. I mean, we're getting ready. So as soon as we have the go-ahead to do the green flag at Knoxville Raceway, we will do it. You can see a little Try Knoxville logo up in the top corner of this, and we want to do a little advertising for ourselves. That's another podcast we have going on right now at tryknoxville.com. That happens each and every Wednesday evening. Check out why you should try Knoxville. In the meantime, we thank you for tuning in to KnoxvilleDirtDigest.com. We'll see you next time.